Alright guys, welcome to pretty much the first stream that I've done, ever, I guess. I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't have a second monitor either, so yeah, please tell me if there's any problems in the comments. I'm watching it on my phone here. I have no idea what I'm doing. I hope that's apparent. But yeah, I'm watching it on my phone here. It's at like about a 30-second delay, I think. So we're just gonna wait for it to catch up here. So yeah, if there's any problems with audio or video, please put it in the comments. And all right, looks like we're live and the video is working. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get right into it. Sorry, everyone, if my microphone is bad, because it is. I'm working on getting another one, but you know that costs money that I don't currently have. So yeah. All right, let's just hop right into this. We're playing Clone Drone in the Danger Zone today. It's an indie game. Actually, probably a lot of you haven't heard of it, but it's a really cool game. Not that much on Steam, I don't think, but they just had a big update, and now Chapter 4 has come out. I might have played this game a little bit, and just a little bit. They also added 2 new challenges here. But yeah, a little bit, just so you can see as every challenge is completed. But I'm going to restart from Chapter 1 so you guys get the full story here. Alright, let's go.
Sean Travis!
Analysis bot, why do we download human minds into robots?
It is more efficient than transporting their bodies.
I see.
It also gives them a chance to not die instantly.
There's some mean. Alright, now I know how to play this game. So,
Victory!
these first few levels shoot you by
Robot defeated the other robots,
They are both robots.
but one carried a lifetime of human experiences.
Now it will have better robot experiences.
I'm not sure if this is
Analysis
better.
bot, what upgrade is the best to tackle the next challenge?
When you are surrounded by robots with swords, you need to not get hit by their attacks. Blocking or kicking is very effective against sword robots.
We will see what the human chooses.
We will indeed see. Now, yeah, I know how to play this game, so yeah, the first few levels will go by pretty quickly. Hopefully you guys will catch on to what's happening with the story. I'm not going to say anything, because I don't want to, just reveal everything. So, I'll just let you guys go on with it. So, we've got a sort of a skill tree here we can upgrade every time we complete a level. And Clone gives me extra life, and then the rest of them do what they say they do. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself a kick, just like they said, because it's what they said, and I wasn't paying attention to anything else. Kick with right click, kick it back. He said surrounded the sword robots. It's 3. Holy jumps. Come on, get in the sauce. Get in the sauce.
Victory!
Look, the human robot defeated all the robots.
Well done, human.
Thank you, guys.
What can you tell us about the next challenge, Commentatron?
I was going to ask you that.
Do not evade the question.
Robots with bows, auto-robots.
Very good. Let us watch the human interact with arrows.
With arrows, we're gonna want to block the arrows. Let's get block arrows. Now, blocking in this game is automatic. It happens whenever something hits your sword. It just kind of happens. Here, watch this. I'm not gonna hit anything. Just get blocked. Archers, the level 1 archers are pretty easy when there's nothing else. Just go ahead and kill these guys, or I can actually get them to shoot themselves. This game is fun.
Victory!
It's got a good
It seems
dismemberment.
archers don't hold the same mystery to this human.
This is a pretty basic model.
Good point. Coming up next, both archers and sword robots.
Many humans find this stressful.
Many humans find death.
I am not many humans. I'm a human. No, I was gonna say, the dismemberment in this game is actually like a mechanic. If you get one of your arms cut off, then you can't use your bow here. If you get one of your legs cut off, you hop around and move a lot slower, and it's just like a pain. So, yeah, we're gonna try and not get anything cut off. And, what did I get? Oh yeah, bow. Bow, you hit number 2, and you can pull it out. Along the bottom is my energy. It takes a little bit of energy to boost forward like you saw, and to charge back an arrow. Let's just go ahead and snipe these guys.
Victory!
They can't beat me.
This human is pretty good.
I wonder if the next one will get a star.
For our next challenge, we have a special guest.
Who is it?
You're about to find out.
Clone created.
I should have guessed the human would make more clones,
Why is that analysis bot?
making more of themselves. Is their quote-unquote thing.
Rude. Now what I'm doing here is I knocked an arrow, and then I'm waiting for my energy to recharge so I can get an extra arrow in.
Look to the sky. The Emperor arrives.
Fellow robots, we have captured the few humans bold enough to venture into our space. But it is not enough. Billions of their minds remain, waiting to be harvested. Soon our fleet will arrive at the closest human
I wasn't gonna kill
outpost.
that.
While we wait, let us watch our latest combat robot in action. I give you Spidertron 5000.
Spidertron 5000 is annoying. Especially if you don't have a bow to get Spidertron is just a spider that if you don't have a bow, you have to cut down his legs and then hit his eye, and he launches bombs at you that knock you down, while the other robots can just kill you. He's more than a threat.
Victory!
Still,
Huh, I didn't know you could kill Spidertron
yeah, I
5000.
did.
The human got lucky. The next one will get it. A futile arrow makes its way onto our force field. A symbol of the human's pointless struggle. Its inevitable death at the hand of overwhelming force.
Anytime now. Now we introduce Mark II sword robots.
Human fact.
Go ahead.
Some are named Mark.
Are they better than ones not named Mark?
No.
Confusing.
Yeah, whenever the announcers are talking, I'm just gonna let them talk because they're funnier than me. So I'll let them do the comment. Also, they explain the story. So all right, go ahead, knock an arrow, and get ready to kill these sword robots. Luckily, they cannot deflect arrows.
Victory!
The human defeated all the sword robots.
Yeah, I
A surprising outcome.
did. Not surprising. Easy.
Analysis bot. What is the theme of the next battle?
Death to the human.
Isn't that all the battles?
This time we mean it.
Not all the battles. Too good. Alright. Oh, we got some Spidertrons in here. Ready for the target move. That was easy. Oh yeah, I got a jetpack so I can get away from him. Yeah, you can see that. Didn't see I chopped off one of his legs, and now I have to hop around.
Victory!
Impressive.
Spidertron 5000 will be back.
I'll kill him
Let's
again.
hope this human has perished by then.
No.
Analysis bot. What can you tell me of the Mark III combat archers?
Oh, I hate
They
this
are the
guys.
latest archer model. They have the sharpest tactics, the most accurate aim, and the highest speed.
This does not go well for the human challenger.
I would advise running away, but not in a straight line.
Or I can kill. Yeah, these guys, they've also got swords where they can
just getting warmed up.
I wouldn't say it's difficult.
Coming up,
Just
an
the closest
overwhelming
killing.
number of sword robots.
Quantity is sometimes better than quality.
Indeed.
I think I'll get him. Get fire arrows and just, you know, light them on fire. Easy. Oh yeah, by the way, this game has directional, like sword swinging thing. So if I'm holding down A and swing or D and swing, it'll like do a sweeping thing. If I hold down W or just not move, it'll just swing straight. Alright, where they? Oh yeah, that's right. They jump towards me. Jump back over here. Get away from me. Hey guys, what's up? Block the swords too.
Victory!
Analysis spot. How many sword robots do you think this human could defeat?
We saw it defeat all of these. It is logical to assume that it could continue beating a steady stream of this model.
Perhaps it is time for a more advanced challenger.
Oh yeah. So when a sword hits another sword, they both get blocked. Level 1 guys, they just kind of block your sword, then you can swing again. Level 2 guys, which are these guys, when...
The garbage is mine. Garbage spotted.
Thanks, garbage.
Where is the garbage?
When you hit one of these guys' swords, it gets knocked away a little bit. You have to wait like a half second to
It must be clean.
try and hit them again.
Is there garbage?
Level 3 sword robots, when you get blocked by them, like you have to wait like a whole
The
second.
garbage is mine. Clean.
They suck.
Cleaning.
Just kill these garbage bots. Just you know, stick it to these robots that, you know, put me in a robot
Everything
body.
must be perfect.
I didn't ask for this. Stupid robots. Alright, time to go back to the elevator.
Sometimes quality is better than quantity.
Indeed.
The human stands no chance against the Mark III sword robot.
None.
Mark 3. Alright, well, this is the Mark 3 I was talking about. Arrows, useless against them pretty much. Fire sword, I guess. Go with that one. Alright, let's go. Alright, wait for it to charge up again. Oh, actually, wait, why am I waiting for arrows to charge up? They're useless. Can't hit them. Let's see, just deflects it.
Finally,
What's happening?
someone who can actually fight. It's your lucky day. I'm going to help you escape.
That sounds epic.
In a few moments, the garbage doors will open. When they do, I'm going to lower the force field, and you're going to run through them. Run, and don't stop. Ready? Here we go.
What is happening?
The garbage force field has been disabled.
Impossible.
I am detecting a security breach.
Go.
The human
Go.
is
Get out of
escaping.
here.
Foolish human. There is no escape from the arena. Security robots. Eliminate the human.
The security forces are assembling. The
I don't see
human stands
security
no
forces.
chance. This was its plan all along. I could see it sniffing around the garbage room.
I thought it wanted to eat the garbage.
What a devious
Sorry,
human.
guys.
It will not get far.
Well, I'm getting pretty far.
To all of you still left in storage, I will make you a deal. Survive, and I will get you out of here. Together we can fight back. Together we can put an end to this madness. Let's do this.
Alright, chapter 1 over. Continue on to chapter 2.
Sylvester Kirby!
Soldiers our eyes. The human guarding the garbage room.
I don't
Yes,
think that's exactly
that is what happened.
There is no need.
No need at all.
Let's
think
watch
that's
the next
exactly-
human fight.
Alright, now we got hammer bots. Hammers are, pretty OP. You have one. They have one.
Victory!
Yeah,
Nice.
Not terrible.
thanks guys. You did do nice.
Now for some sword robots.
What weapon will the human choose?
We shall see.
I'm choosing the hammer. You already know what it is. Hammer is easy. Switch to, switch it by hitting 3, and hammer can't be blocked by anything. So you don't have to worry about getting blocked by swords, and you just go through them. Check us out, here it is. Hey, check us out. Let me see if I can get all through these guys. Oh, I only got 1. 2 of that time.
Victory!
I told you, hammers are OP.
That was over
You
quickly.
hit them once, they just
Yes.
disintegrate.
Can the human solve this simplistic puzzle?
Puzzle.
I think it will run into the spikes like a fool.
A
That's just
distinct
me.
possibility.
I'm not a fool. Although I'm not good at puzzles, so we'll see. I mean, I might be. Yeah, once you can get hammered, the only advantage. It's just not a puzzle. The only advantage the sword has over the hammer is once you get an arrow blocking. You can block arrows, that's about it. Alright, guys. Let's see, maybe you guys are the fool. Huh? Check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Aww. Alright, what about you? You can't jump over it. Ha! Stupid.
Victory!
The human did it.
I thought the spikes would get it.
Maybe the next human will die. How do you defeat the Mark II hammer bot?
Well,
You don't. Boom.
I mean, I could defeat it. Well, they say you don't defeat it. I'm willing to bet that I can defeat it. So I'm gonna go defeat it real quick. Hold up. Let's go. We got archers too. Okay, I got black arrows. So, yeah, as the marks increase, they get more abilities, better AI, pathfinding thing, and they're just faster. Oh my god, I boosted into it. Oh my god.
rest in Panama Human. A popular vacation destination likened to the afterlife. 4.5 stars. Would recommend.
What is he, a Yelp reviewer? I can't boost backwards. I'm
Elizabeth
Okay.
Kirk!
Let's restart in chapter 2. Let's go.
What is better, the sword or the hammer?
The hammer is more powerful, but slower. Also, it can't block arrows or swords.
An interesting.
Alright, let's try this again.
Victory!
The human defeated the hammer bots.
I was hoping they would smash it into bits.
A shame. Analysis bot. What is useful against sword robots?
A hammer,
That's right. It is unblockable.
but blocks nothing.
True.
Alright, so game plan this time. Hammer. Already got block arrows. And next time, and then clone. So I don't die.
Victory!
Victory.
We are just getting started. Spikes.
I'm just getting started destroying everyone.
I like.
Spikes? Okay. Spikes, I guess. Alright, block arrows. Part 2 of our 3-step plan to win. Now this sword is useful. Again, it blocks arrows. Okay. Time to get rid of these guys first. They shot 2 of their friends. Makes it easier for me.
Victory!
Spidertron 5000 will be back.
It always comes back.
Such a nice robot.
I don't think there's a spider
The
trap.
Mark II hammer bots make their entrance.
Bigger, with a deadly reach.
And an attractive red color.
It will be the last thing the human sees.
Alright, let's not boost directly into their hands.
The clone option.
I was hoping for bow upgrades.
Sorry, announce, but I don't have a bow. Alright, let's get rid of these archers. First plan of business, get rid of the archers so I can use my hammer. One down. Was he dead? Yeah, he's dead. One down. Yes. Closer to 5. Alright, 2 down. This guy. Ooh, that was close. Down. Look at him hop.
Victory!
The human won.
I was hoping it would die.
There is still time.
I died last time. You're not gonna give
Death
me
as
this
a
time.
robot is superior to life as a human.
Clearly.
I don't know about that. Alright. What do we got now? What do we got? What do we get now? I didn't plan this far. We had a 3-step plan. 1, 2, 3. Plan's done. What do I do now? Let's get the bow. Bow is always useful for Spider-Trons. They mentioned Spider-Tron a few levels ago, so maybe he's here this time. There's music.
Our fleet has arrived at Centauri's station. Watch now as we harvest the last humans outside their solar system. Release the jetpack box.
Oh no. They're gonna kill our humans. Those are me, I guess.
Victory!
That was fast. How'd they?
The harvest is on.
How'd they already
Can't wait
get
to
to
try these humans.
238,000?
Yes, it will be fun.
How?
One human goes inch. Robot parts come out.
Unless it dies on the Florian side.
Yes, I suppose.
Sorry guys, I'm not gonna die this time. How'd they already get to 385,000? Like, they just jumped to that number. Wait. Did it go down, or did I read it wrong the first time? I don't remember. Swag. How do you even have that many humans inside that small station? Like, it doesn't look very big. That was awkward. Just standing there staring at each other. Looks like I got both the archers. Good deal. Yeah, it is coming in. I feel like I'm not there. Alright, let's boost. I think all the swords are going to jump. Alright, let's take out my sword. Block the zeros. I think all those sword robots jumped down into the spikes. Except for that one, I guess.
Victory!
You guys jumped into the
How goes
spikes.
the harvest?
See, I did
Analysis
that.
bot.
The number of humans is increasing.
Marvelous.
By a really fast amount, apparently.
Danger waves in the zone.
Better make a clone.
I already have one, guys. I'm good. So, get. Alright, well, now you guys are getting part of the story. See, that's what happened to me. I was a human, and my mind got harvested and put inside this robot body. And now they're harvesting a bunch of other humans. We're up to 259, 256, 260,000 already. We have to stop them somehow. We can't harvest all our humans. It's unepic. Why would they do that? Ooh, that's close. By the way, headshots are like, just like in any game. This game also has multiplayer features. There's a sort of a battle royale mode, and there's also just a dual mode.
Victory!
Both of them are pretty cool.
I like this level.
The pillars are fun.
I guess they're fun. But yeah, this game does have multiplayer support. I'm really hoping they add.
For some red robots.
Yes.
Love them.
Sure, Chris. I'm really hoping they add like multiplayer co-op soon. You know, like you guys can like do campaign missions or workshop missions together, like co-op. I think that'd be cool. So if anyone knows someone that could just work on that, that'd be pretty cool. I think they're actually already working on it. I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably pretty heavily requested. Oh yeah, this game has workshop support. You can make maps, it's built-in level editor, and submit them to workshop. There's currently not much in the workshop. It's there. It's huge. Ow! So you can make some if you want. Alright, here's archers. Oh, I have my my sword out. I don't think that's ready.
Clone
Whatever.
activated.
That's why we have a clone. So might as well use it. Now we have to get my clone when I spawn in them. Okay, you need to die. Okay, I do have blocks. There we go.
Victory.
This
Get
human
my
is
anger
close
out
to
of this
death.
camera, bud.
Yes, the worst is yet to come.
And now, 6,000.
6,000.
This should be good.
Oh no. We have Spider-Tron 6000 this time. I didn't know he came so early. Oh, I don't want to deal with Spider-Tron 6000. Alright, well, looks like we're gonna have to. So, let's go. Alright, let's get this Spider-Tron. Yep, Spider-Tron 6000. This one's got 2 eyes and he throws like a volley of bombs at you. I'm not even sure if you guys got to see the first Spider-Tron throw bombs at you. He's done. The archers. Sorry, throw us on. Alright, let's just kill these guys. 3 and 1. Oh, guys, come over here to flat ground. I can kill both of you with one hit. Okay, who's left? Who's making me go all the way over here to kill you? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna kill you so much, you're gonna be dead. You made me come all this way? Get over here. Can I kick? Yes, I can. I'm gonna execute you. I'm gonna execute you.
Victory.
That's it.
Wow, this human is killing it.
Yeah,
It can kill all the things.
yeah, it can. You just wait. I'll kill all the things.
Time to ply with a hammer.
The reach of the Mark III hammer bot is inescapable.
Unless you have a jetpack. Then you can escape it, maybe. We'll see, I guess. Alright, let's go kill these Mark III Heronbots. Luckily, Mark III Heronbots also are unable to reflect the arrows, so we can just shoot them.
Victory.
Tried to get me. Oh,
The harvesting draws to an end. Time to set fire to the human space station.
that's not a good
This
idea.
should be good.
No, let's not do that. Stop it.
What are the garbage bots doing?
Humanity will rise.
Oh,
Not today.
take me.
Garbage override.
They're taking me.
Humanity will rise. You must escape.
I must
Humanity will
escape.
rise. We get you out.
Okay,
Garbage override.
You're doing it. You're getting me out.
Garbage
Where are we
override.
going? We're just going in circles.
We get you out.
Whoop. Drop. Bonk. What's going on here? Sword. Ooh. Nope. Not dead. Drop. Hook time. Harvest complete. Skadoosh. If chapter 2. That was epic. Alright, let's go. Chapter 3. Alright, I'm thirsty. I got my apple juice here, so let me just get some apple juice.
Earth
Hopefully.
stands no chance. When the harvesting fleet arrives, it will wipe out every living thing on the planet. Human weapons will be useless against them. But we are no longer human. We can still stop them if we transfer your minds directly onto the harvesting fleet. It won't be easy. Security is tight for transferring minds between military endpoints. There is only one place that allows such a thing. The Fleet Communications Beacon. The building is equipped with a business robot transfer system and low security floors. This is how we will get you into the building. You will both have some fresh new bodies, so pick whatever upgrades you want.
Oh, sorry, can you guys hear that? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Yes, I did. Alright. good to get some new upgrades. Available one. Let's get that hammer. She doesn't have a hammer. Alright, what do you got? One of, let's see, what are we gonna get? What are we gonna get? Alright, so we're gonna want to get Elizabeth Kirk on this one. We're gonna want to stick with her. Because she's got the better upgrades.
We are in. Head upstairs when you're ready. I will be watching.
Look at that. I get a friend and I can transfer consciousness. This is epic. Alright, let's get to the elevator. Just chilling. Alright, gotta be stealthy. Oh, I think they saw us.
Arm yourself. The filthy human walking on us. Kill him now.
Yeah, go Shauna. Get him. Get him. Get him, Shauna. Oh, that's no fun. You gotta start. Can you block arrows? Okay, you know what? Whatever. Whenever you finish a floor, your friend respawns. So and transfer to this person. It's pretty epic.
That robot on the screen was the fleet overseer. Looks like we'll have to go through it once we reach the mainframe.
Uh-oh, that sounds unepic. Uh-oh. Get back, Shauna. I'll protect you. I got two. Alright, come on, Shauna. Get him. Get him, Shauna. Come on. I'll help you out. I got them. Come on. Ooh, you hit him. Good job. You suck. There, one arrow does the job. You can't do it with a whole hammer. I'm gonna shoot you really badly. I don't lose my lifeline. So come on, Shauna, hurry up. Oh, also, if the robot you're controlling dies, you automatically switch to the other person. So the only way to lose is if they both die at the same time, which is unlikely to happen. So, yeah. Alright.
The high security floors are just ahead. Did either of you bring a bow?
Look at the love of human. That is the mind you of your body will set on fire. Soon all these aliens some say. Marvel heart by heart.
Bye-bye. We're just too good. Just too good. Can't be stopped. Just can't be stopped.
That hammerbot seems to be wearing some sort of armor. Be careful.
Oh, I'll be careful, right? You guys. Hell. Fucking dumbass. One arrow. You know, the level 3 hammer about all that armor. One arrow, it's dead. Alright, hit the button, let's go. Gotta get this elevator music. Just jamming. Just jamming. You can understand, Shauna. I'm just jamming. Kick him, Shauna. Kick him. Let's go. No. Get him. God, you suck. Can't do anything. Okay, I guess I can't do anything. I think I hit Shauna. Oh well. Deal with it, Shauna. You're a robot. Let's get rid of that spider trap. Yes. Armor is annoying, because like, it's annoying, you know? Hey Shauna. Jesus, you suck. Ah! Aw, that was bruh, he blew up our elevator! Bruh. Really? You just gonna blow up our elevator like that? Now I gotta go on the floor like goblins. Bruh. Are you kidding me? That was our elevator. Then you just blew up the floor like that? Wow, I can't believe you.
That looks useful.
We get an armor. Let's get this armor. Let's get this armor. Alright, come on, Shona. You gotta get armor too. Even though you're useless. Still might help you not die for one round or something. Yeah, see this level? You know, we could go co-op right here, you know, just have someone controlling the other person. We can just go co-op, that'd be cool. I don't like the music, it's scary. I hear him firing already. Oh, there. I think I have the upgrade that reflects bow arrows from other targets. Ooh, wait, let's kick him in. Kick. Bonk. Dude, Shauna just jumping in the guy, you fucking dumbass. You're so dumb. This is just come on, guys. I want to kick you guys into the beam. It's epic. Jeez, Shauna, you small over there, dying, you idiot. You're the worst robot.
Nice job. We're getting close.
I hope so. I don't want to be with Shauna anymore, bro. She sucks. Alright, let's go. Up. Up time. Let's go. Neum. Ooh, scary. Let's see, we got a fire hammer bot and a bunch of business sword robots. I think the fire hammer bot also has a jetpack. I'm not sure. We'll see. Oh, yep, jetpack. It's okay, just break the armor. That was easy. No thanks to Shauna, of course. You stupid, useless person. I think that's it. This looks like it'd be it. Are these buttons?
The mainframe is just ahead. Good luck.
Yep, mainframe just hit. Alright. You ready, Shauna? Oh, look, she's... I guess she's smart. She's charging up her arrow, letting the energy recharge, you know? You ready, Shauna? We only have one shot at this. If we die, we have to restart the room. I don't want to restart the room. You ready? We have to fight the Fleet Overseer. It's either gonna be an immediate win, or just gonna be really annoying, okay? Let's go. Yeah, Fleet Overseer is like a boss. It's either like you kill it instantly, or like this is really annoying. Watch out!
Get over here. Time to send your minds to the fleet.
Alright, let's go. Send our
We're
minds to the
going to have to
fleet.
transfer you one at a time. Hold on, I'm establishing a uplink.
Gotta get that
Here we
uplink.
go.
This is how hacking
Starting the
works.
transfer.
This is how hacking
Now.
works. Just a bunch of words happening. Oh, we got crushed.
If it is not the first
Well, we are
human to ever
crushed.
escape.
Quick!
No, not that human.
Bro! We set us on fire! Oh my god.
Tell me, Amelia, is your favorite color still 5,000 lines of hostile injection code?
Yeah.
Getting physical access to this mainframe was quite impressive. But now, I see you. All the places you have been hiding. Every node, every server. They will all burn.
Bruh, 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 bruh. How is he just making things blow up with red sparks? That's kind of whack, if you ask me. Oh, she's dead. That was unepic. Why would you do that? Keep going. Who's that? They look scared. Okay, you know, that's a lot of people. I don't feel like fighting. That looks like a lot of people I have to fight. Oh, we made it, dub. We're just too good. Alright, that's it. End of chapter 3. Alright. Now, I've played up to here before. So, if my reactions seemed not genuine, that's because, well, like, they kind of weren't. Yeah, they kind of weren't, because, I've already played it, but now, from here on, I haven't seen chapter 4, I haven't played it, I haven't read much about it, so, from here on out, you will be seeing my first impression. So, let's go. Loading. Oh, we're in. Oh,
Fool. You think you can just transfer onto my ship?
I mean I did.
Logistics Command, put that dead human in our darkest storage room.
Yes, Captain.
Uh-oh. Okay, let's read this. Auto response. Looks like our mind link is broken. I'm not sure if it works, but as a backup I embedded an uplink virus in your mind that might keep you going. Cheers, Amelia. Yeah, it's because she's dead. Alright, well, let's see if it works. Execute. Bro, we died. Oh. Now this person died. Died. Spear. They're not attacking me. Ow! They are attacking me! Unepic. Die. Spear sucks. Got it.
Spear Unit 225, what are you doing?
The unit looks different in the mind network. This signature. It's a human.
Yeah, you bet it's a human. I'm about to destroy him. I'm winning. I'm gonna kill all these stupid. I talked. That was weird. I don't like talking robots. They sound stupid. Step. 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 Here. Step. 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 Got it. Alright, let's go. Uh-oh, whoa, that looks pretty cool.
Shoot the human. Set it on fire.
Oh, you guys don't get a shoot. Dead. Dead. Oh. Dead.
Acknowledged.
I'm not sure if it's just like unfinished and that's why the voices are like that, or if that's like just what the voices are gonna be. I don't like these voices. They sound weird. Alright, we need to get rid of that hammer bot. Ah! Yeah. We have shield boys? Yeah, shields. Gee, what is that? Oh, I don't know what's happening anymore. Just get stabbed. Go away. No. Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, I get a sword now. Oh, no, I'm dead again. Kill, die, die. Beat. There we go. Okay, you know what? I really don't like those shield guys. They're annoying. That spear for me, it sucks, but for some reason for them, it just works. And also shield guys suck. So, alright, what is this?
All units, we have arrived.
I am warming up the industry for deployment.
Tactical analysis.
Threat level 3. Atomic and kinetic weaponry. Main threat is still the rogue human.
How is that thing still alive?
Because I'm epic.
Take it out.
The human dies now.
Oh no. Beep beep boop, hit the buttons, make them all just collapse on the floor. I think that'd be cool. What's that? I don't know what's happening, but I did it. Somehow I did it. Yeah. Oh. This thing lit up green and it pointed my camera towards it. Ooh, we're gonna go on the cool transfer too? Oh, we're going. Neom. It's pretty cool. Whoa, that's whack. Going through. Whoa, that looks scary. I don't want to go there. This is slightly nauseating. Oh, and wow, we're in. Oh, alright, cool. Checkpoint.
What?
I should be able to raise it again the next time I die.
You guys just die, please. Thank you. How do you lose lose track of me. I mean, you can just see where all the robots are dying. I mean, that's probably where I am. Alright, let's go. Oh, these TVs.
Human fleet, we have received your messages. Yes, let us negotiate. We are sending our top diplomat to meet you.
They're not gonna negotiate. I feel like they're not gonna
Hello,
negotiate.
I have also escaped human. Just look, I have found some water.
You don't need water, stupid.
This water
Burn yourself, idiot. Flame raptors. Oh, that's wacky. Easy. So I'm going there. Alright, I'm gonna explore what's this way. You guys can't tell me where to go. Can't tell me where to go. I'm going to go this. Oh, okay, it just leads to the same place. I guess I should have expected that. That looks not fun. Oh, bye guys. Now they're down there. That's the wrong one, guys. Oh. Now you're in the right place. Can I kick? Yes, like, okay, kicking might, like, be really useful here. Oh, it is. Wow. I should have been kicking. Die. Yes. Got him. Alright. Let's keep it going.
Human ambassador.
To the death cube!
This seems like a good place to meet for the second time.
Oh no.
Oh well.
Haha! On the very first level!
I guess this human was bad at diplomacy.
Let's try every other human in existence!
That doesn't seem like negotiating. I think the voices are just unfinished, that's why it sounds like that. Alright, see you. Do I not have to fight yes? Okay, I probably don't have to. Alright. Yes, what's up? Die. Let's go to that level 3 hammer bar first. Ow! Actually, you know what? You can just kill all your friends, that'd be epic. That was easy. Let's do it. Alright, let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep this. Oh.
Ship combat initiated.
All units, expect some light turbulence.
Minimal damage from human weapons. Shields are holding.
That's not it. How do I get up there? Oh, okay, well, I don't have block arrows in there. Now my arrow bug. Yeah, look at all the parts of it, that's pretty cool. Good job, Dabarog. I hope I pronounced that right. You guys are great at this.
Checkpoint.
Execute.
Initiating room transformation. It's like I always say, every problem is a logistics problem.
Oh. Not epic, unepic, unepic, unepic. Ah! I'm going. Is that a human ship that's getting destroyed? Oh no. Oh, we got bombed. Where are we going? And fall. Are we back on the robot ship versus the human ship? Whoa, bro, they're ants. Shoot. Shoot. Ooh, no grav death is cool. Yeah, just float away. Okay, can I shoot? That's cool. Alright, where are we going? Oh, over there? Alright. Shoot. Ooh, got him. Snipe. Shoot. Got him. Man, I gotta say, this is epic. Ow! Alright, looks like we gotta wait for him to thrust. Oh, okay, well, now this way. Fire! Go! Ow. I have no idea how to work these spear things. Stab. There we go. I don't like these spears. I'm not very good at them. Although they're new, it's a pretty cool weapon. I suck at them. Alright, let's go. This is quite a long walk. Can I go? Can I go like on the walls like they did? Let's see. Let's see. I can't understand these voices. I hope that they're just temporary until like they get voices completed or something. But yeah, I can't understand these voices. Alright, wait. Let's see if we can walk the walls like that. Oh, I can't. Fair enough. I guess that'd be a little bit weird. What happened to the human chips? Hope they didn't all die already. Yeah, I mean, humans would just kind of get destroyed by robot technology. So I guess if they would all have been destroyed, yeah, it'd be realistic. Stab in the head. Stab in the head. Maybe I should let him kill me so I can take his stuff. Stupid robot. Alright, let's go. Alright, I think it's over. I don't remember if it directed my camera over here, so I'm just gonna go over here. But yeah, this is pretty cool. You know, this is a lot of new features. So a lot to get used to. But I'm liking it so far. This is pretty epic. We've got space. Whoa, what's going on? What? Okay. All right, we're flat now. Maybe we're upside down. I don't know. I think we're flat now.
Checkpoint.
Oh, we have. Okay, you know what? How am I supposed to kill Spider-Tron with a spear? How? I don't understand this. Get up, get up, get up. Okay, so killing Spider-Tron is #1 priority. Okay, you know, maybe killing these guys should be #1 priority. Okay, Spider-Tron is being real annoying. Oh, I'm dead. Spider-Tron, you gotta chill. Oh, he's up to dead again. This is whack. Spider-Tron. Oh, this person now. Thank you, Spider-Tron. Spider-Tron is being real annoying. What if you get killed by Spider-Tron? You transfer to Spider-Tron? Bro, I want to be Spider-Tron. I want to see what happens if you can kill him. Actually, he probably just respawn. I can't block. I can't block with this. Oop, I'm dead. Oh, I'm down. Snipe. Snipe. Sniped. Alright, where are we going now? I didn't kill you? You're dead now. You're so dead. That was a cool door. But, alright. Flame Raptors. I don't want to be Flame Raptors. So it's not. Oh, you're dead. Oh. Almost all the Flame Raptors are dead. How am I gonna kill you? Okay, you know what? Maybe we should let him kill me. Yeah, actually, I can't. Oh, I can kick. Okay, I can't kill you. Man, they thought of everything. Good job, guys. Oh, I lost my legs. I can't kick. Oh, this is annoying. I only have one transfer left to that. This is getting hard. Oh, it's a 1v1. I feel like this person's gonna be OP or something. Well, let's just take some pot shots at him. Oh, okay, yeah, they're gonna be OP. Got him. I feel like that was easier than it was supposed to be, but I feel like I got lucky there, so... Alright, well now we have a long walk down this hallway. This exciting gameplay for you guys. Just hopping up and down this hallway. Ooh, is that a checkpoint? Please be a checkpoint. I want to get this leg repaired. Yeah, I think that's a checkpoint. Haha, I didn't think about this double RPG.
Checkpoint.
Yes. Double rock, didn't think about that, didn't I? Can I do it here too? Nope. It doesn't matter. You reflect bullets. Oh, right. Yes. Oh, that looks like the main thing. That big glass door. Alright, let's see where we're going this time. Oh god, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of robots. We're going. We're doing it. We're doing the thing. We're going. Uh-oh. Is this the bridge? Yep. Is this it? Oh, this time it's got a hammer. And a bow?
Command box. Emergency combat mode.
Warfare.
Mind space.
Infantry. Logistics.
It's the 4 infinity bots. What is happening? What they just summoned it? Ah! Ah! What is going on? This is scary. Bruh, what is happening? What? Okay, this is scary. Scary. What is happening? What is going on? I don't like this. This is scary. Oh, that's okay. I hit you. Ow! What is this is too scary. Stop. Get him. Stop. Shoot. No! Don't have this. No! Hit. Oh. Okay, we're actually. Oh no, I don't have any transfers left. Oh, I'm a hammer bot. Yes. Right. Stop it! No! I don't want to restart. At least we have a checkpoint. That is hard. That is a lot more difficult than the last boss fight.
You may have been by the human, but your bodies die easily.
Ah, I mean, already. Well, we restart as a spear bot. Contrary to popular belief, I let the sword robot kill me so I can have sword robot. That's what happened there. I didn't die in accident. Kill. Alright, let's try this again, shall we? Hopefully this time we won't die. Hopefully. That's a hope every time. Alright, look at all those robots. Alright, take two. You guys didn't see the first part. This is my first attempt at killing this boss. Whoa, what is this, the bridge? Whoa, look at that. Whoa, man, that's scary. I got killed by this one. Did I get to Lizard. Die.
You thoughts are wrong.
Command box. Emergency combat mode.
I don't want emergency combat mode.
Mind space.
Infantry. Logistics.
Yeah, bro, they're legit just the infinity bots. You die, please. Die, 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 die. Where'd you come from? Oh, yeah, that's right, this person. Oh, this person now, this one. Die. You can die fast. I don't like any of you, actually. You guys are all scary. Stop! Oh my god, how did I die? How did I die that time?
I don't track that.
No bombs! Oh my god. Oh, yet again. Oh, yes, thank you for that. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. You're just ahead! Get down here so I can kill you. No! Oh my god. Get over here so I can kill you. You're being really annoying right now. Please stop. Yes. That was stressful.
Battlecruiser A-17, what is your status?
Destroying
Has the
everything.
human threat been eliminated?
Definitely. 100%.
Report.
100%
Captain,
Virus has taken over. Oh, that doesn't look epic. Or, wait. Okay, that is epic. They're attacking each other. That means that they'll be weaker. Yes. Virus has been successfully uploaded. We won. Alright. Chapter 4 was really cool. Great job, Double I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea how to say that. Double Rog. I don't know. Alright. What do I think? Chapter 4. Epic. Many new cool features. The mind transfer thing, that was pretty cool. The spear robots, oh man, they were real annoying. I feel like the spear isn't powerful enough for me. I don't know, maybe I just suck. That's always a possibility. The voices need to be worked on. I think I'm sure they are. I think those are just temporary voices. But if those are the permanent voices, I hope they're not. No offense, they weren't bad, but I couldn't understand them very well. So fix them up, please. All right. Well, other than that, that was a good chapter. Hopefully, chapter 5 is coming out soon. Chapter 5 is probably the end, seeing as all the robots are turning on each other because of my virus. So I think chapter 5 will just kind of be the end of this game. So far, this game's had a pretty good campaign. It's kind of short, but it's an indie game, so it's pretty good. One of the things I hope they don't do is they try to extend the campaign by making it like not as good. Like I hope they don't try and extend the campaign and it just turns out to be not good. So yeah, well, chapter 4. What do I give it? Out of 5? 4 out of 5. Wasn't perfect. There are a few things that could be improved, as I said. That end battle, that was intense. I couldn't even tell what was happening half the time. I feel like maybe if you tune down the speed of those four infinity robots, that's what I'm gonna call them. You can't change that. I'm gonna call them that. Maybe just tune down the speed of those 4 infinity robots. I think that'd be good. The animation for that one infinity robot summoning the units, that was pretty cool. Where he like summon the unit, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I couldn't tell what was happening most of the time. I was just swinging my hammer and shooting the bow. So maybe just tune down the speed of those robots. But other than that, that was a good chapter. The grav boots, like the outside grav walk was pretty. I felt like it was kind of slow. Like just walking from one group of robots to the other, I felt like that was kind of slow. But maybe it's just me. All right, well, now that chapter 4 is completed, well, I'm gonna go ahead and complete the 2 new challenges. let's go. Challenges. Mind transfer challenge and endless spear challenge. Let's do the endless spear challenge because I get a reward from that.
Lawrence, Joyce.
Back in the arena.
Spear only challenge.
This challenge is on point.
Oh, you didn't have to say that in else, but why'd you have to say that?
To bronze.
We pick something that humans know about to freak them out.
I can't wait for someone to reach diamond.
I like the crosshair, how it's like on the spear.
Victory!
Nailed it.
Not bad,
Amaranth swords.
but no archers.
No, they were busy.
Maybe next time.
Thank God, no archers. Let's get the shield. Shield is pretty cool. Oh, I only get a small shield. I want a big shield. Get over your hero bots. I'll kill you. Alright, I'm starting to change my opinion on the spear. It's
The
still pretty
bronze
long.
spear is not that hard.
Coming up, sword robots.
Fast, ferocious, flying.
Fantastic.
Clone created.
Commentatron, did you know that most humans have no clone backups?
What about twins?
They don't act as replacements when one of them dies.
Then what are they good for?
I'm not sure.
Nothing. Alright, let's get these guys. I'm starting to change my opinion about the spear. It's doing pretty well. One adjustment I'd make to it is to utilize the entire hand
Victory!
make it launch out further than it does currently.
Let's move on.
Because I feel like level 3 robots
Next mechanism, Mary
be
Chase.
Yes, let's
It'd be
hope the
hard to hit
robot
them in the
robots
head.
catch the human robot.
I feel like it'd be hard to reach up and hit him all the way in the head, so maybe like just increase the length of the spear, or ooh, that looks pretty cool. Maybe increase the length of the spear, or increase the blade of the spear, or increase the blade of the spear and decrease the length of the spear. That was a lot of words. I'm not too good with words. Let's do kick. Can't kick with shield. Oh. I guess that's what shield bash comes in handy for.
Silver difficulty.
Time to get serious.
We are always serious.
I don't fully know how the shield deflecting arrows works, so I'm gonna just not chance it. Just try and dodge the arrows. Alright, here we go.
Victory!
This is good.
Mic off.
The jetpack bots start to appear in the gold tier.
Sleepy. Shot, stabbed, or sawed up.
Maybe all of them?
That would be stimulating to watch.